Namaste, yogis. Let's do a little quickie yoga. This one's called Thread the Needle. So this one actually brings a little bit of a twist into the movement. We're doing rotation of the spine, but it works predominantly with your thoracic area, the upper back. There's 12 vertebrae in the spine there, works mostly with that area. But of course, it also works the neck and a little bit of the low back. So one thing I just want to make note before we start, and I don't think there's enough people speaking about this from what I've noticed coming from whether it's yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, or even physiotherapists, is to be very cautious on the neck. Because if you're struggling with the pose and struggling to get your shoulder down, you might inadvertently put too much pressure on your head, which can potentially be harmful for the neck. So let's be mindful of that. So we do this posture from table position where you're on all fours, knees approximately under hips, wrists approximately under your shoulders. Okay, so finding your table. Now, for some people, depending on what floor you're working on, if it's a hardwood floor and your mat is quite thin, you might need some padding under your knees because we'll be on the knees for most of the thread the needle time. And so please do that if needed. It could be a folded blanket or a small little pillow. Okay. Now I don't need it here because I am on a carpet. So I'm just going to put that off to the side. So from the all four position, we're going to start with the right arm. So your left arm is going to be the supportive arm. And I sometimes suggest to take your hand a little bit wider. So take it a little bit to the left. The idea is lifting your right arm up. You want to have the support here on this arm. It's going to be doing some of the weight bearing. So this in of itself, when you come up, you're doing a twist. You feel how you're twisting your thoracic, your chest area up. And you could even twist your head to look up as well. Just let your head kind of move with the arm. And then when you thread, the right arm goes under the left arm, threading the needle. And then you could come down with your head. Now, the head might touch, it doesn't have to touch. But again, put the left hand in that position where it's going to give you the most support. There'll be like a 90-degree right angle here when you're down. So you can push back up and open the arm, inhale, thread the needle, exhale. And just do this a few times. It's a nice, almost like a little pre-warm up for thread the needle. And one more time. As you thread the needle this time, we're going to hold the position. So you're going to come down on your right shoulder. And for some people, this can be very challenging. And if there's pre-existing shoulder issues, it might not feel good. And then instead of putting the weight down on the shoulder, you might end up putting too much weight of your head on the floor, and that might bother the neck. Okay, so your head is turning a little bit to the left. Okay, and you just hold the position and breathe. Breathe, I would say. Stay for maybe 3 to 5 full breaths. But I'm going to give you some variations. So one could be curling your left toes under and sliding the foot away so you straighten the leg. For some, that might give you a bit more balance. And if the weight is not on the head, you might be able to lift your left arm up and then turn the palm to face away and take your hand to your low back. Okay, for me, I just feel more stable if I put my left hand back on the floor And then I know that I'm not putting and leaning on my head too much. So for me, I like to do the hand on the floor, but for some of you might be fine lifting your hand up. Okay, and then when you feel ready, okay, ground the left knee again, push your left hand into the ground so you can release the right arm. And whatever you need here to come out. So maybe that arm needs some movement. Maybe you just want to sit up for a moment and feel that. Feel on both sides. So your left arm did lots of strengthening. Your right arm did the stretching. Okay. One thing I'm just going to mention here, if this pose is not available to do just the way we did it, there is something you could try. You will either need a bolster, or if you don't have a yoga bolster at home, because I know probably most people wouldn't, is you could take like a folded blanket and a pillow and make your own. And then what you would do in this case is, again, if you're threading the needle, you'd actually put the arm that you're crossing, you would put it on the cushion and let your head fall down towards the ground. Well, guess what? There's less weight on the head now. And this might give people that feeling of getting the compression. So the outer part of the shoulder is stretching, the inner part is compressing. This is good for the lymphs. They're both are good for your tissue, both compression and tension being the stretching. Okay, and again, this is much easier on the neck. So that's one suggestion that you could do as using props to be helpful. The other thing, if neither of these work, this is a little bit of inversion, by the way, because your hips are up and your head is down. So people avoiding inversions might want to do it. People maybe with headaches might not want to do it, or glaucoma, or whatever the case might be, untreated, uncontrolled high blood pressure. You don't want to do inversions, but you still want to get that nice stretch. This is the easiest way to do it. Is I call it the elbow press. You just cross the arm over, and then you're going to press it. It's actually the beginnings of the eagle, right? So it's called the elbow press, and you can get that nice stretching here, compression here in the same way, and then you can just hold for a few breaths. Okay. All right. So that is thread the needle, but of course we have to do the other side to balance it all out. So let's do that together. If you do need your cushions for it, please go ahead and put them in place. If not, now we will do the opposite. We'll lift our left arm up, inhale. Good. And for me, this side, I have less range of motion. I can't lift the arm up higher than this. So you just go to where you can. Inhale, exhale, thread the needle. And again, check with where your right hand is placed. Again, I like to go a little bit to the right, wider to get that nice 90-degree supportive angle. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, thread. And if your head doesn't come down, that's fine. Everybody might be able to try the flowing, because you don't have to come all the way down with it. Feel how you're twisting your back in both directions. Then we'll do our holding. Now this is the place where people might start to bring in variations, modifications using props. So again, when you come down, you do want the left shoulder on the floor. And again, you're adding compression. One thing to note here, if this brings tingles to your fingers, it's a sign to come out, because you might be pinching a nerve. Okay, but otherwise, if all feels okay, one thing you could do here is to straighten your right leg this time. So curl your right toes under and slide the foot back. And if you feel like most of the weight is on the arm, not your head, you could take the right arm up. And then if you want to turn the palm away and take your hand to the back, or reach over to the left side of the waist. And then some people might even maybe like just slightly turn your head up. But again, I do feel, I just want to be cautious with my neck. So I'm going to go back with the right hand on the floor and try to relax into the left arm more. Relaxing into, breathing into. So there are different approaches. You'll get different effects, and it's going to be your choice. Bringing the arm up or not, straightening the leg or not. When you're ready, just carefully use your right hand to push into the ground to bring yourself out. Maybe the left arm wants a little bit of movement here. You don't have to be on your right hand anymore. You can just come up and just see what your shoulders need, your arms need. Notice how that feels. So just even taking the pause, a breath in and out, and noticing your shoulders. Your shoulders are thanking you for doing thread the needle. So thank you for being with me. Have a great day.